It is 6:37 on a cool, breezy January morning in 2017. A cruise ship is preparing to dock here at the Bridgetown Cruise Terminal in Barbados with thousands of passengers. Many of them will be making their way to Harrison's Cave. Meanwhile, just about 7 miles away in the central highlands of the island, workmen are busy preparing this attraction to receive its visitors. Already on the job are Supervisor of the Maintenance Department, Erwin Ford, and Technician, Corey Phillips.
First thing on mornings, the electrician will come and he would check the display for any faults. He would log our meter readings to show how long and how many hours the tram had actually worked the previous day before, which were recorded. There would also be the battery level check to ensure that it is full before it goes into the operation. He would also check to ensure the electrical side of the braking system is working and functioning before it is actually driven by the mechanic when he comes to check afterwards.
Meanwhile, the operations manager, Kevin Thomas, arrives and joins the security personnel as they conduct the necessary checks on the compound. As they make their way down to the valley floor, Erwin Ford and Corey Phillips continue their maintenance checks and the logging of that information.
The electrician, after doing this, would then ensure the battery is filled to capacity with the distilled water to ensure the longevity of the life of the battery. It is autofill, which he turns on, and when it is full, it automatically cuts out. He also checks the microphone, which is PA system, to make sure it is working properly for the tour guide.
Meanwhile, senior tour guide Hyacinth Thompson arrives and makes her way down to the valley floor. In the meantime, Operations Manager Kevin Thomas and Chief of Security Paul Robinson make their way to the monitoring room to prepare for the daily walkthrough of the cave as they conduct the necessary checks. Before doing this, Operations Manager Kevin Thomas reminds us of the important role of the monitoring room.
The monitoring room acts like the control tower at the airport. It coordinates the movements of the trams inside of the cave. Because of the cave design, a maximum of 4 trams can be inside the cave at any given time, though usually on a daily basis, we will have 3 trams inside of the cave. This is even more important due to the fact that the trams cannot communicate with each other. If one tram driver wants to relay his location to another, he first communicates that location to the control room, who then repeats it for all the drivers to hear. The control room also logs when any personnel enter or exit the cave. The time they enter, the time they exit, and the amount of time they spend inside the cave.
Back on the cliff top, Edwin and Corey are leaving no stone unturned as they ensure that the trams are checked thoroughly.
He also continues his checks, turn off, in terms of the connections between the linkages, all the electrical connections, make sure they are properly secured between both trailers. And the lights for the steps and everything else work through these along with the speakers. After this, then we will have the mechanic come and he would also then check the linkages, the safety chains, the breakaway switches, which will be emergency brake in case of any breakaway. You also check the air pressure in the tires going forward, and the wheel nuts, they're checked daily. Here is the brake fluid check in the section here that is also done. This is for the tractor. He also drives and makes sure the steering is functioning properly. The goes right around the building, around the roundabout, come back and make all the tight turns that would be in the building to make sure the trailer is following correctly along with the vehicle.
Kevin Thomas and Paul Robinson grabbed their appropriate tools. They join Maintenance Officer Elvis Holder and make their way to the mouth of the tunnel.
Every morning at approximately 8 o'clock, cave maintenance and security does a cave check. That involves walking through the cave. We're looking for any breakage of the stalactites or stalagmites, any fissures that may have come, any litter that guests may have left inside the cave, or any sediment that may have been deposited from rainfall the previous night. This is usually taking about 15-20 minutes every day, and it's to really ensure the safety of the guests before any tour.
Good morning, base. This is Elvis. I'm doing a radio check. Do you copy me loud and clear? The time is 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Chief. Elvis, base receive loud and clear.
Okay, base copy that, base standing by.
Okay, reading loud and clear also.
All the water is cleared up from the rains from the previous nights, right? No, that's what I'm saying. It look a lot better.
It look a lot better than yesterday. So what coming last night then will pass off. Yeah.
You had to open the valves more?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear for sure.
Also here, also clear. It cleared it. And we don't have any odor, no smell, nothing so. After the rain, yeah, we can't all wash down. Yeah, because sometimes like water come over and sediment on the road. Good morning, base. We are at Cascade, and every time Cascade is in good order. Do you copy?
Base receive loud and clear, base standing by.
All right, read you loud and clear. Roger that. Come in, base. We are in the return room, and the return room is also in good order. Do you copy? And this is our final chat. We are on our way out. Do you copy?
Base copy that. Base standing by. Safe journey back out.
I read you loud and clear.
Back on the surface, and in the valley floor to be exact, Hyacinth is reporting for duty and is about to conduct the necessary checks of the interpretive area and the cinema. The early morning crew has completed its checks throughout the tunnels and the caverns and is making its way back to the mouth of the tunnel.
Comment base, we are out the cave and everything in cave in good order. Do you copy? I guess in between here, but I don't hear it.
This is base copy that, base standing by.
Really loud and clear.
So we've just completed our cave check. We're a competent engineering team and security team. All the lights and sensors were found to be in order. There was no damage that was observed at any point in the cave. There was no overflow of water or odor. Sometimes during the course of the week, when we get heavy rainfall, parts of the cave may overflow with water, causes sediment to spill over into the road, sometimes damaging structures. They also, as is a natural environment, sometimes there's an odor that may go along with it. And in those cases, we have to go down regularly throughout the course of the day and reevaluate the situation. So for periods of time, we may have to pause tours of the cave while we let the situation settle and while we observe it. And so on those days, we may go down as much as 5 times in the cave to do checks repeatedly. And this is always accompanied by our cave maintenance staff and security.
The findings are recorded by Elvis Holder, and the good news is relayed to all supporting departments. Everything in the cave has been found to be in good working order this morning, so the green light has been given. The cave is ready to receive its visitors for the day. They have arrived and are making their way to the reception area and onto the cashier to pay that nominal entry fee. Meanwhile, senior tour guide Hyacinth takes up position to welcome them as they descend into the valley floor.
Okay, generally I would meet my guests right here because over the years I've found that to meet my guests and to bond with them early tells me the clientele I have, and then I can cater specially to them. So I even make it a point of remembering their names if they're interacting with me and they're calling out to their children and so on. I make a point of remembering their names so that sometimes during the tour I might call out to one of the children by their name and they're happy to know, wait, she knows my name, how does she know my name? But they forgot that I had it here. I always remember their names and circumstances and so and things that they would have said to me as I met them. And then I would, during the tour, I would always like allude to that, and they would be always happy and feel like not just a face in the crowd, but they would feel appreciated even from the start of the tour to the end of the tour. Tour guide Hyacinth, you have a ticket that I require.
Oh, my sister.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, I squished it.
That's all right. You're allowed to squish. Okay, if anybody needs to use rest facilities, we need for you to be comfortable for 40 minutes underground. Okay. So rest facilities are on the left. Otherwise, we're going in and we're going to have a movie this morning. Might be James Bond. I'm not sure what I show. From day to day, it could be anything. Could be anything. Jurassic World, I watched that the other night. That's really good. That one is good, yeah. So I need a number, and this is your receipt, right?
Oh.
Okay? So as soon as you girls are in. Yeah.
Thanks,
Good to
Yvette.
see you. Haven't seen you for a little while. All right. So no rest facilities, you know. All right. So we're going in. We're going to have that movie. Somewhere here a little early, so there might be a little. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now have our core group of persons. Thanks for your patience and understanding. This is the first trip of the day. So we will be going down. And remember, we are going to set the tone for the entire day. So you be good, and the day is going to go really good. So I'm going to invite you to the movie room. Just remember that you do get dripped on. Don't let it affect your personalities, but you do get dripped on. Afterwards, you exit here, and you sit on the tram as you wish. One seat will accommodate 4 persons anywhere. Okay?
As they watch the movie, Hyacinth goes out to the tram and conducts her final checks and prepares for the ride. The movie has ended, and she takes up position to usher her guests onto the tram.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our driver today is David. Could we say good morning to David? Okay, we are in good hands with David. So David and I are your team today. Hyacinth and David will take care of you for 40 minutes. Of course, I must remind you, no touching or tugging at the walls is permitted for our own safety. And please keep arms and legs inside. Do not stand while we're traveling. As we continue to look to the right, we are observing an underground stream in motion, and now we ascend alongside what we call the Little Village. Now we call this the Little Village because it reminds us of groups of people together in families. Kind of like you guys, when you come to visit. Some are tall, some are short, some are round, some are thin. That's where we got that thought from. Our visitors. This is like all of us together on the tram in groups of families. Now, when Tony and Ole crawled along this trail, I need you to imagine this. This was completely enclosed from our view. The 2 men worked their way upwards with flashlights. And at the end of the trail, they came upon a room. We are going to be let down in that room to spend 3 minutes. So I need us to envision ourselves crawling up with flashlights now. This is completely enclosed. How many of us would have made it up the hill, I wonder? All right, so think about that. And they're crawling up, and water is coming towards them from a naturally occurring stream. So this water can sometimes change in its motion. Sometimes we get much more flow. During the rainy season, that's from the month of June until November, we can get a more copious flow. Right now, it's kind of moderate, but imagine these guys going up the slippery slopes, crawling towards water. These guys were brave guys, and eventually encountering a room known as the Rotunda, or Crystal Room. Now, this room is becoming very popular in recent times as a wedding room. Just for those of you who are having such thoughts, we have been having quite a few nuptials performed in this room. So as you're there, check it out for further reference. But we are now 80 feet or 26 meters underground. I welcome you to the Rotunda, or Crystal Room.
Senior tour guide Hyacinth has a knack for putting her guest at ease. As they disembark the tram in the Rotunda Room, with a sense of duty and no doubt with pleasure, Hyacinth and driver David help the guest to preserve memories for all times.
Okay, they were looking for you. All right, best smiles now. Are you ready? Family time. Memories like the corners of your mind. Beautiful. Okay? Of course. You wish one? Yes, all right, my dear heart. Come on in. Says lovers at first sight. Beautiful. No, you're very welcome. I usually like to give you it with a little song. All right. Now, he was walking across. I don't know if you minded. All right. All right. Anybody else needs a photo of you and your family? What about this family in the corner here? Don't be hiding away. Y'all need a memory here. And you were my first. You never forget your first. Whose camera, whose technology is the best? All right, this one? All right. All right, just come. All right. Are you ready? I took two. I'm not certain whether the first one, but I took two. You have the family over there and you guys there. That's okay? Yeah. All right. All right, you're very welcome. Anybody else needs help? Photos for everybody? Photos for any, did you get one? Yeah. Come on, you and your girl, come on. Wonderful world, you and your girl. Okay. Now, while we are here, the lights may dim a bit. Don't worry too much. That is for preserving the cavern. So the lights may go down. Right? So she's leading you where she wishes you, sir. Yeah. That was my signal. All right, best smiles now. You ready? My love, I'll never find the words. My love, that's beautiful. See that? You're welcome. Okay. Anybody else needs a photo? Remember, time is going. We only have 3 minutes before we go down again. Make sure you make your memories. And those of you who are planning your weddings, remember this room. This is where the bridal party comes down, and you have a lovely backdrop for your wedding pictures right there. Yeah. You want another one? That's all right. Come. All right, all right. We're taking last pictures, sir. This was last pictures now before we go down again. All right, don't miss this moment. She keeps going off. What's her name? Marianne. They need you in the family photo. Come there. Right. All right, so yeah, I'm going to have you in like a semicircle. Right, that's good. A kind of semicircle. I'm missing the gentleman in the blue. Right, this is wonderful. Ready now, family? Smiling? Beautiful. All right. All right, can we reboard then? Remember where you were as we are getting ready to go down another 80 feet or 26 meters. We've only just begun. Do you know that we are actually traveling towards Bridgetown, the capital of Barbados? We are traveling southwards, and we are seeing the stream resurface again. Last time we saw this stream, it had disappeared. We are following this stream southwards towards Bridgetown, and we have actually come down 52 meters or 160 feet. We are still above sea level, 700 feet or 213 meters above the level of the ocean. Why is this? Because we are in the center of the island at the highest elevated plateau in the parish of St. Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to our final point of our journey, the Cascade Pool. The pool behind me is approximately 9 feet or 4 meters in depth. No swimming is allowed, but that would have been a fitting end to our tour. We are now allowed to disembark and take a closer look. No swimming. this is as far as we can go on a tram. But if we were allowed to swim across, we could go down behind here on the left. We do have what is known as the Eco Adventure Tour for small groups, and they get to do that kind of stuff. I'm not the tour guide for those tours. It's a 3-hour trip.
You would recall tour guide coordinator Jolene Gibson spoke about the importance of paying very close attention to your guest, and if need be, sharing a joke or just giving them that extra attention. Evidently, this type of hospitality flows naturally from senior tour guide Hyacinth Thompson.
Memories to last a lifetime. Beautiful. Yes. Got some water on you, son? You got some water on you? That water makes you grow a bit, so I'm going to check you out at the end of the tour. We have actually witnessed a cavern which has been here for 500,000 years. And we are honored to have done this. It is considered to be a very young cave by geologists, even at that age. We've taken our pictures, we've made our memories. Just be seated now, tuck your arms, your legs inside, as we are going into more familiar territory. Remember this tunnel? This is a tunnel that was forged out of the solid cliffside. This is a contrived tunnel, and a proud Barbadian called Noel Boyce, he drove the machinery that dug out and extracted all of the rubble. The rubble was used to make roads on the island during the period of development of this cavern, which took approximately 5 years or so. We are hoping you had an enjoyable visit with us. We certainly enjoyed you this morning. You were our first, and as I said, you set the tone for our day. We wish to thank David for doing an excellent job driving on such a small road. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure to have been your guide today. I leave with you one of the secrets of the cave, and there are many. We have done our conclusive research, and it turns out that the raindrops are indeed the fountain of youth. Each one of us is now at least 10 years younger for having had the raindrops. Those of you who are under 10, you have actually grown marginally. I've seen the difference in your height. But those of us over 10 years younger, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you may now disembark. Thank you, my dear heart. Blessings on you. God bless. Yes, thank you. All right, bye-bye. 10 years younger. Have a great day. All right, bye-bye. Thank you. And you have grown taller, son. Actually, you're at Dad's shoulder now. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming. All right, blessings. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye. Okay.
A very responsive and interactive tour guide. The tour has now ended, and many of the guests will be making their way back to the ship, which will later sail away from Barbados. This program was a fine example of how the work of each department is inextricably linked to the other departments, and the importance of performing each task with due care and attention. Do join us next week at the same time as we look towards the future of this establishment with its Chief Executive Officer, Andrea Franklin. This has been Art Out of Nature, Harrison's Cave, Barbados.